Ludmila Schaefer, and I level the playing field of knowledge around disease prevention, research, and patient care to help you to make informed decisions. Welcome to the Doctor Connect, where we are connecting through inspiring stories and providing education and information around wellness, health, cancer, and medical technology. I'm your host, Dr. Ludmila Schaefer, medical oncologist broadcasting from Kansas City in the United States. All information discussed on this platform does not substitute your medical care. Guests on this platform sharing own stories, experiences, and conclusions. Thank you very much for joining us today. And today we discuss about mindset in cancer and how to address and how to develop hope. We know that probably there is not a person exists that have not been affected by cancer by some means. It's either personal or family member or neighbor, friends, and maybe just someone you know. And a lot of times when we hear the word cancer, it's like a death sentence, and it's never ready, despite the screening and prevention that has been done. And there are some cancers have been declined, and there are some, unfortunately, on the rise. And with that, we also see what are possibilities and what are hopes and how all of us, we can learn from experiences. And today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Dennis Cortez. And Dennis is unbelievably kind and passionate person. He did design a lot of things that develop how to hope, and from his personal experience, will share some tools with us. And with that, I would like to welcome Dennis. Dennis, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Ludmila. It's a pleasure actually to be here with you on stage right now.
So Dennis, we are discussing today about mindset, hope, and cancer. And we're going to have conversation and dive deep what we can and cannot do and how we all learn from it. Can we please start from you telling your full name, where are you located, and some of your backstory?
Yeah, my name is Dennis Cortez. I was born in Manila, Philippines, but half of my life I'm living here in England. I'm an educator from the University of Bolton, and I have a passion of education because as the family always said back on the in the Philippines, is the only escape to poverty is through education. So my passion is through education.
So in terms of the education, can you tell us a little bit what your education and how that education and what you do actually influence and brought you to where you are today?
As a very young kid before, I was brought up by my grandparents, and I was exposed to being a young entrepreneur at the age of 5. So I was helping my grandparents actually makes money on their business without me knowing, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So I think it's on my DNA already on the entrepreneurial scale and education as well, being exposed to numbers in there, counting numbers. So it brought me into my love actually in mathematics. Academically, actually, I'm an accountant by profession, and I practiced that back in the Philippines and in England. I used to be the research finance officer of the University of Manchester, managing their projects until late last year, when I focused on the business, which I'll be sharing with you later, and why I actually go into that business, what fires me into that business, what's the vision of that business, and why am I on that business. And thank you, Mila, again.
Well, now, before you really now intrigued me how actually business related to our topic, because it's like, seems like two different spectrums. So I'm really looking forward to find the link. But before we go there, Now, something very interesting you mentioned that since 5 years old, and actually that's very interesting that you and I, we are coming from different parts of the world. And now we are on one platform and everything seems so close and we're sitting next to each other. And interesting that actually since 5 years old, I was working also on my parents' little farm. We had to dig weeds and do chores and help all of those things, carry water, buckets of water. So it was not paid type of job.
I know the feeling.
Interesting how we go back to 5 years old and how much it influenced our experience and how powerful what you do today, because we learned so far a long time ago. So now I would like to move, and how do you relate, you said about business and why we are here today?
On the business, actually, the experience, the journey of having a business is so tough. People actually right now, I would say millennials are, they said the business is so easy to raise the money. You can be the next unicorn. Your business could be worth billions. But the thing is, there is beyond that. What's the passion behind the business? What's the reason why you're doing your business?
Exactly. Yes. What's the passion? Why did you decide to do that?
It's for me actually education. I'm a STEM ambassador in England, and I'm a mentor actually of School for Social Entrepreneur and the Prince Trust as well. So, and also I'm a school governor of primary school in Bolton, called Queensbridge Primary School. So I believe that if you educate this younger generation, this is the future. True quality education, and these children actually they have a chance, giving them a chance, a fair chance, to become who they want to be. As for me, originally from the third world country, Philippines, and now I'm living in the first world country in England. I can see the difference on education, how the children's being brought up. There's government support in England. In the Philippines, there's not much support in the Philippines. In there, if you don't work, if your parents don't work, you starve.
Yeah.
In here, there's support in there. So there's two different things. Mind setting, as your subject in here, mind setting, is about building resilience at the very young age for these children. Showing them, it's not overprotecting them, which actually showing care, but letting them actually have their fingers burnt a bit and telling them, if you do this, that's the effect. I think that's where we should actually, it's more on the mindset really.
Yes. And how does word cancer related to you?
If you were with me back in 2018, that time actually we're working on the biotechnology company and agri-tech company, those two companies we have right now. We're trying to find a cure on cancer, Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, working with the top cancer doctors and working with cannabis, medicinal cannabis, who's our scientist back then is the ex-GSK director. So, and then we're talking about people who has cancer. Until one day, my uncle called me. My aunt, his wife,
Your aunt.
had a cancer, been diagnosed with cancer, stage 4.
So
He strikes me straight away, Ludmila. It's like we didn't expect it's going to happen to my family.
And how old were you when you first heard this?
It's just like someone poured you a bucket of ice. You're just frozen in there. You don't know what to do. You're in shock.
Yeah, it is shock.
You'll never know. You'll never know until you get there. So people are talking about with cancer. Oh, it's just cancer. I hope it won't happen to anybody. But the moment you're in there, I don't want them to feel it. But for me, we're sharing the experience, the feeling, how it affects us, and how we react on it. And it affects our mindset. Some people go into depression into it.
Yeah, it's very easy to go to depression. And a lot of times people freeze and don't know what to do. And it's not like we prepare, even if we hear day in and day out, this is something not prepared. So what happened? Can you share a little bit deeper with us?
Back in 2018, my aunt actually is been suffering with myasthenia back then, so she's into different. She's been in and out of the hospital, been checked actually with the NHS. Lucky for us to have NHS in here. So, but the thing is, the experience going into that, it's like in and out, medicines in here, medicines in there, and we've seen actually she's losing weight. Yearly before we go and visit them, or sometimes they go and visit us in here in Manchester. And over the years, sometimes she just cannot travel. She's just feeling so tired almost every day.
Just
Which is
getting
actually,
tired. That's sort of first symptom that experience. And of course, being tired, I can imagine your grandma's strong and she probably keep pushing, right?
yeah, my aunt, yeah.
Oh, and sorry.
Yeah. She keeps on pushing on it, actually. Of course, the family support is there. But the effect, especially on my uncle, I feel for my uncle because he has to give up work. He has to look after my aunt to give her support. It's just like, it's so touching actually for me. I felt that I am there with her almost every day because every day I'm speaking to my uncle on the phone. My uncle is my business advisor, one of the advisors to the board of our group.
So you talked to your aunt and your uncle, and the time got evolved. And what was the most maybe difficult experience or difficult day or maybe difficult episode that kind of stay with you? Sometimes it's just one phone call or one conversation. What do you remember? What was the most difficult?
I was in London train station in Euston. I had a meeting with Dr. Bray. I asked her actually, Dr. Bray, can I ask some advice?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to my aunt and my uncle and give them an advice? I wanted to come from you directly, because I know that time we're working on the medicinal cannabis work for the cancer, Alzheimer's, and they're doing that research actually in France. So I asked her a favor. Is it possible if you can actually maybe use that drug or that particular clinical trials into my aunt, if you can put her to the program? But of course, it just doesn't work like that. You have to do applications, has to be approved by the government. It's not that easy, right? So it's so challenging. So I put her on the phone actually with my uncle and my aunt. They're talking in there. She asked my aunt, what is your diet like? What do you eat every day? So I'm not going to change it. And the thing that strikes me, Lyudmila, is one word she said: organic. Everything you put into your body has to be 100% organic. And that time we were working on Agritech, this company we have for natural inputs for the plants. So what is the main source of our food? These farmers using these synthetic inputs and chemical pesticides. If they keep on doing what they're doing, right, and they are the main contributors to the people who's actually developing cancer, then it's like a circle, isn't it? This is before Monsanto actually being that landmark case against them. It's before them. The doctors already telling me, you have to move away from synthetic produce that you just buy in supermarket. It has to be organic. And the advice I'm sharing to my friends or people that I know who has cancer is the same advice Dr. Bray told my family. 2 kilograms of organic carrots. You have to juice it every day. That's your juice. Even if you hate it, it helps. Maybe you can vouch for that.
That's fascinating because right now it's very difficult to find something organic in a different part of countries. They don't know nothing but organic, and there are some countries it's only organic, and there are some it's just very difficult to find any food, and everything is so processed. And how do we differentiate? So this is a very powerful advice. When I ask you this question, it actually struck me that's the least I could hear. Like usually doctors, okay, you go in for clinical trial, you get this medication, you get radiation, chemotherapy, surgery, but word organic, that's very, very interesting.
Chemical free, actually.
Where did it lead? Yes, please tell us.
Upon the diagnostics of my aunt, actually, the doctor said straight away, you only have a couple of months to live. What would that tell you when you hear that word? It's like you're going to die tomorrow. You only have 24 hours left. You just probably freeze in there. That's what we hear, actually. But luckily, actually, my aunt is doing organic things already, or she's eating organic foods already. Until Dr. Bray said, 100% organic, no exemptions. That's what I said, even on rice.
Even on rice, okay.
Reduce the rice, actually. So, but she's actually very good because she developed like a dietary program for my aunt, right? Without changing dramatically, just changing the ingredients, make it organic, zero sugar technically, though I must have a sweet tooth, right? So for no sugar, zero sugar, chemicals, it has to be chemical free because that's the food of cancer. So the thing is actually what we're advocating in here right now, Ludmila, is on our project is about helping the farmers to move away from synthetic inputs and chemical pesticides, right? It's been proven already, that landmark case. But the thing is, what are the motivations of these farmers? Is it the money? When I was on the United Nations Food System Summit, there's only 3 points that they mention in there, right? Number 1 is the crop yields. Number 2 is the nutritional contents of their produce. And number 3, what is the environmental impact of what they're doing? 1 and 2 is very important for the farmers. Crop yield is for them to make money. Second one, do they care if there's nutritional contents or not? The third one is actually, do they care about the environmental impact? Some do, some don't. But if we put this actually as our moral compass, this is what we told them. That's why actually we supported Prince Charles on his Terra Carta advocacy for nature, for people, and for planet. If you put this one as your moral compass, you will make a difference. Money is just a byproduct of what you're doing, but if you put these 3 up front.
So it's a very important how you brought up, but how do we raise awareness of cancer, among farmers, among other people, pretty much everyone in the community, let's say in my neighborhood?
When we talk to the farmers, actually, like earlier, when I just said, I mentioned to you earlier before this show, I've just been to the farm with one of my contacts here in Borsco. They have 500 hectares of farm, and they farm 100% organic. How beautiful is that? They know exactly the impact on the environment. They know the impact on health. They know the impact on the crop production. It's beyond the money. They only actually harvest what they need to sell. They don't do over harvesting and sell it to the supermarket. No, they just do it as like on demand, which is actually very good. So I invited them actually to join the challenge that we've launched together with the United Nations called the Sustainable Challenge. What's that challenge? It's the farmers raising awareness to other farmers.
Excellent. This is such an excellent point. I was about to ask you a question because farmers now already know now how farmers can actually raise awareness. Yes, please go on.
Yeah. So we're talking to these farmers earlier. His name is Duncan. He's a good. I'm not saying actually I'm promoting him in here or something, but I'm promoting him because we share the same vision.
Right? So you're not promoting him. You actually challenge. So we know to follow. Yes. Yeah.
It's so powerful actually because what we've been facing actually on business, especially if you got a new product to an old market. You're introducing a new product to the old market. Oh, they will say, it won't work. This is what my father, my great-grandfather has been using for generations and generations. Why change if it's working, right? Like, why fix when if it ain't broke? The same thing, the thing actually people are always saying. So for them, actually, we're not selling them anything. Told them, I'm not here to sell. I'm not here to convince you to change your belief. I'm not here to change your practice. I'm not here to even change your religion. I am here to show you the effect of what you're using and the effect if you do this or if you do that. I'm just showing you the effect. And it's going to be up to you whether you want to use or you want to continue what you're doing right now, or do you want to switch. It's going to be on you. So that's the challenge we put to the farmers. So when we talk about economically, will you save money? If we tick the box, yes, okay, that's one point. If you can grow more crops, that's another point. If you can grow more nutritious crops, that's a big point. And environmentally, what's the impact on the environment? Particularly right now, COP26 is being hosted in England. What's the environmental effect on CO2, on climate issue? Are we just going to be like those politicians who's doing the greenwashing, just talking the talk without the walk? Or are you going to take some actions? That's a sustainable challenge we have in that.
Excellent. And this brings to a very important point about how do we bring young generation to farming? Because, for example, in the United States, right now we've got computers, cell phone, we basically carry TV in the palm of our hand. And how do we make young generation go and become and work on a farm? I know I did work. We gather berries, we gather potatoes, we gather all those bugs actually from the potato leaves with our empty hands. So I was doing that, was pretty much normal way for me. But then on the other side, there are some countries, and we're speaking about the entire world, that they are hardworking, they're constantly on a farm, and they don't know what does it mean go to the store and just buy all this food. And they basically working. So how do we balance? This is globally such a big, diverse issue from, do farming versus not having devices and everything available, on your hand. So how can we balance, how we can pass the message or maybe two messages between two worlds? And I know it's a very complicated question, but I was thinking about it. Yes, just, joining, and it kind of reminds me because you said you were just on a farm, and I so much appreciate that you actually join, you coming from the farm, you are working, you are doing everything, and now you're sitting handsome in a suit, ready to pass message. So I just so much admire and appreciate that you're here with us.
Thank you, Ludmila. Thank you. So, going back on the younger generations, your question. At a very young age, or maybe when we were back in school days, we remember one person, our teacher. It's like, who is your favorite teacher? I'm going to education in here, Ludmila. There's one teacher that you will always name. I can actually ask you, name your favorite teacher back in primary school or secondary school. This is about the impact. I'm going through the education. If there is a quality education that this teacher or educator passing on to the next generation, younger generation, and they love what they hear from this teacher, and they're so inspired, this younger generation will become our next farmer, responsible farmer, right? Probably they love science. I told them, I don't like farming. I love science. I love maths. But do you know there's science and maths in farming? Everything is in there. Even geography is there, actually. There's so many things around it. So going education on the younger education, we need to support teachers around the world, because they are the person that these younger generations always see almost every day. Us parents, if we have kids, how many hours do you see them in a day? They're always in school. Monday to Friday, they're in school. Exemption, actually, COVID pandemic last year. They're working on Zoom. But most of the time, they spend their time with their peers. They spend their time with their teachers. They
Mhm.
go to school just to eat and then sleep. On weekends, they have their own time. So these people inside the educational system is the most influential people to do the proper upbringing to this next generation. This is actually why empowering these teachers around the world is so important if we want to educate the next generation. If we really want to make a difference in the future, it's an impact. Actually, it's a global impact these teachers are actually going to make.
And that's why I think, education right now, basically at the crossroad, and education that I went, over 30, almost 40 years ago is a completely different with education right now. And going back just for a moment, to our topic, each of us at some point in life, unfortunately, learns about cancer. And once we diagnosed, or someone we hear diagnosed, then we don't really know. We start searching, what precipitated? Is it this factor? How I was educated about this? What's happening? How is my finances, how it's affect education, how it's affect diet. All of the sudden, people start changing, their diet. Yesterday was diagnosis, today I have to start exercise, today I have to change my diet, today I have to start taking vitamins, today I have to eat organic. So how do you go, and what education actually brings up to the point that probably taking care of ourselves sort of from the beginning, go deep in the roots, start, like you said, start from teachers, then as generation grows, learn step by step, versus, sort of, it's basically like a flip coin. And you just brought up such a vulnerable experience about your aunt, and I'm so sincere, sorry, in my sympathy. But I sort of think that did things sort of change dramatically, and what you are bringing right now about education, sort of gradual, exposure. Do you think that's something we could do, or there is another way you might think?
There actually, education is the key. I think that should be the focus of every single country or every single leader in the world. Because at a very young age, a vulnerable age for the children, feeding them information, information that's so vital on their growth, vital to become for them to become resilient, but vital for them to become aware of what's happening around them. Right? They are naive, and if you give them misinformation, they believe on these particular influencers, like the teachers or these adults. So if you plant, it's like planting actually. If you plant something like, for example, corn, and you keep on feeding with the chemical synthetic inputs, what do you expect for the corn to be? It has loads of chemicals. But if you actually nurture it with proper information or proper inputs, you expect a good result, isn't it? It's like you reap what you sow. It's the thing actually. I think it's a simple principle. So giving these children, making them aware, is raising awareness at the very young age, particularly the cause and effect. If you do this, that's what's going to happen. But making them responsible on their choices at the very young age. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. Not to tell them actually, don't do that because it's going to happen to you. I think it's more on the approach for us adults to the younger generations.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And I would like to kind of recap and emphasize that, and I'm going to ask you 3 tips to give to the audience, but also one thing, probably hope in education. It's not only hope in awareness, but how we can actually make steps in action. So the hope in steps, education between teachers, farmers, organic food, spread the message. And also, I would like to ask you for 3 tips to our audience. So maybe 3 strategies or challenges. Give us challenges.
Number one is the hardest one, actually. Number one tip is actually be kind. That is the first tip. Be kind. Be selfless. That's the definition of be kind. Be selfless. Because if you don't think about yourself, if you put yourself as a second priority, but looking at the way others actually around you, it has the vital effect. It's an effect on you. What you do to others will always come back to you, as if you're doing it to yourself already. So be kind. That's the first tip. The second one, actually, don't be selfish or don't be greedy. Educate, lead, and inspire. We always use that on our hashtag educate, lead, and inspire. Why we do that? Because someone has to tell the story. You can lead them, you can educate them, and you can inspire the next generation. Number 3 is believe. Believe you can make a difference too. Believe the one up there. I'm a believer on him. Believe there's always, whatever your religion is, always believe that you can make a difference. Just surround yourself with good people and good will come to you.
Excellent. I love it. Kind, inspire, believe. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dennis. I know it's very difficult for you, and it's very heartfelt topic. And I so much sincere, and I know our audience very appreciative for your time and everything what you do, and how you educate and how you bring community together. And for all your leadership, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And I would love to have you back on our show and see if we can expand more message further. And with that, I really would like to thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I should be the one thanking you, Ludmila. Thank you for having me here on your show. Thank you.
And I will meet you just in a minute. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us on the Dr. Connect show. Join and subscribe our YouTube channel and comment. And please connect with us. We would love to hear your story. We would love to help you to convert your story to a valuable advice. And we are super excited to have you on this journey with us. Thank you for watching and listening. And we are looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye for now. I'm Dr. Ludmila Schaefer, and I level the playing field of knowledge around wellness, medicine, and research to help you to make informed decisions.